Today we'll talk about screencasting. You can access this presentation by going to this bit.ly link, bit.ly/edit screencasting. Let's get started. Screencasting in education, at least for this edit class, will be used to show an educational how-to video. So you will actually think of something that you can share with your students in a how-to format for an educational technology skill. So if you were thinking that you're going to have your students insert pictures into a Google Slides, then you could create an instructional video that would give the steps about how to insert images into a Google Slides. Let's take a look at the module before we get into the specifics of the assignment though. So inside the module on screencasting, you do have some information all about preparing the stage or having a purpose for your screencast. And your purpose for this assignment will be to teach a technology task or tool to your students. We will be using a storyboard. We'll take a look at that in just a minute. You do have a lot of resources here, some different tools that you could use to create your screencast. Check them out. You have how-tos for each one of those. And as you're doing your screencast, look at step 5 and remember that you can always record, but follow your script and make sure that your step-by-step directions are given in the screencast. So let's take a look back in the presentation at our steps in specific. So a screencast, as it defines it here, is a digital recording of your screen. Pretty much like what I'm doing with you right now, but you would be teaching a particular tool instead of giving a narration of something. Your step 1 is planning your content. Decide on a clear purpose for the screencast. Identify your audience. Which, are you going to do this for students or are you going to do this for teachers? What do you want your audience to know or be able to do after the viewing? So let's go full screen so you can kind of see that. Step 2, prepare the stage. Think about what you want, what portion of your desktop you want to capture. Make sure that the portion that you're using is clear of anything that's distracting and kind of crop off the areas that you don't want to use. Step 3 talks about the storyboard. So before you create the video, you're going to create a storyboard to sequence your video content. This is your blueprint about your video. So let's come out of this for a minute and let's look at that storyboard. We have actually linked you a template to a storyboard. Looks like this. And you'll notice that it has scenes, it has your script, what you're going to use for transition, and then any notes that you'll have over here. We will look at an example of the storyboard in just a moment. There are some videos in the module that can help you with the purpose of storyboarding. You can also look through this link here, Kathy Schrock's Guide to Screencasting. She has some very engaging and informational topics that you can look at on her site. Listed below here are some things that you definitely want to think about before you start recording. Here again are those tools that I suggested that you take a look at and decide which one is the best one for you to use. And then step 5 is kind of what we went over previously, to be thoughtful in your narration, speak slowly and carefully, and follow your script. Step 6, you will publish your screencast to Google Drive or YouTube, and then the share link needs to be anyone with the link can view, and you'll share it with your instructor. You'll also share that link in Blackboard, just to be sure that we have no problems viewing it. So in your assignment, don't cover too much information and be very specific on the few details to demonstrate. For example, if you're going to how to insert images, or how to create a table of contents, or how to use comments in Google Docs. Your final video should be 3 to 5 minutes long, no longer than 5 minutes. The screencast must include, now it says a title slide, so that could be a Google Slides page that you show on the screen that has the name of your tool, your name, and the date. You also will need a question or a hook to capture the audience attention. You know, what would be something that you could say that would draw them in to watch your video? Then introduce yourself and what is the title of your screencast, and then an introductory comment that explains your purpose for creating the screencast. This is very quick and very short. Make sure that your image and your screen has good resolution so that we can see everything that you're doing. Your detailed information that you're sharing is accurate and that you have presented it in an order that is logical for someone to complete. You must show at least 3 images related to your topic, and make sure that your information is paced appropriately throughout the screencast. Your voice, demonstration of the tool, and the webcam showing the presenter talking. Okay, this is the picture-in-picture view. We need to see that it is you that is creating the video. So do that picture-in-picture or webcam view. You also need a closing comment that briefly summarizes what you just shared. And then don't forget, any copyright information needs to be listed at the end of the video, even for images that you created yourself within whatever content you're using. So a couple of reminders. Make sure that your video is done in a creative way of how you're modeling how to use the tool. Rehearse it. Make sure there's not background noise, TV, dogs barking, those kind of things. And make sure that you're sharing it with expression so that people are engaged with your content. Make sure anything that is on the screen is grammatically correct. And then finally, that you have stored your video in Google Drive or that it is published to YouTube. All right, let's take a look at an example storyboard. So here on page 8, this is an example of a storyboard that a student had filled out previously. You'll see scene 1, the transition. They're working through whatever they're saying is in quote. It is quite detailed. The link to their video is up at the top. All of the notes over here. This is a very detailed, very well filled out storyboard. Very good example. Also on the next page, you have 3 different examples here. I believe the first one doesn't have the script with it, but it does have the video. The other 2, the video is linked inside the script. We definitely want the video linked inside the script. But also check out all of the videos just to see the style of how each one is done. And then also in this assignment as well, you have the post-survey that you'll need to do within this module to kind of wrap up some of your technology integration. Let's take a quick look at the rubric before we wrap this video up. So in the rubric for the screencast, as always, we're looking at the exemplary column over here. So be sure that you have shared your introduction, and in your introduction you're doing your purpose of your screencast, that you have a hook that draws your reader in, that in the creative content, the next point down, that you have a creative way to demonstrate the tool. Also, that you are making excellent use of the graphics, whatever graphics that you're using to enhance your video. In your audio quality, try it out. Check your audio quality before you publish. Make sure your voice is clear, expressive, and enthusiastic. And number 3 right here is very important. Make sure that the student can be seen in the picture-in-picture view. This is you. Make sure we can see you so that we know it is you. Make sure that you're speaking, of course, with correct grammatical grammar or grammatical usage, as you are narrating your video. Your storyboard is worth 2 points. Has the title, the name, and the date. Also make sure that your link is included here, and that your scenes are listed here as well. I'm going to put on here that your link is included. Your design, you have font, color, style. Your image resolution is excellent. Also, the content of the screencast, 3 points. Kind of comes back over it, name, title, and date. All information is accurate, on topic. You have a question or hook. You've introduced yourself and the tool. Your purpose or reason why you're doing the screencast is stated. You have at least 3 different images. You've pasted appropriately, and then, as we mentioned before, make sure all credits and copyright are listed at the end of the video. So that kind of gives you all of the pieces and parts of the screencast. If you have any questions at all, please email your instructor, and we will be glad to help you out and support you on this assignment. Thanks for attending.